As someone who is still upset about the amount of eggs I hatched without a shiny during the last regional egg event of the Ultra Unlock, I want to talk about something that has been brought up time and time again when it comes to features that could potentially be added to Pokemon GO. Breeding. For the most part, my opinion on breeding has always kind of been what purpose would it serve in Pokemon GO, but as of lately, well, I sort of just realized because of a tweet from Draw Jamie Beer, who said the best way to do that is daycare system in Pokemon GO. Players will pick one Pokemon they want the most, so they get 9 of the same Pokemon instead of random Pokemon. Egg hatches. And I don't know why I didn't think of this until now. In fact, I didn't think of it. Jamie, Draw Jamie Beer, thought of it. But now is a perfect time to introduce breeding to Pokemon GO because it will facilitate shiny hunting. Previously, my stance was kind of, well, the only thing that you're really going to get out of breeding is better IVs. And at this point, that's not necessarily that hard to do. So let's start here. For those who aren't familiar with breeding from the main series, essentially you leave 2 Pokemon at the daycare center, a male Pokemon, a female Pokemon, and then an egg mysteriously appears after a while. Nobody knows how it gets there. These daycare attendants are incredibly irresponsible and don't actually watch your Pokemon while they're in the daycare, but at some point they turn around and go, oh, there's an egg. These 2 Pokemon are here, and now there's an egg. So you get the egg, you walk, you hatch the egg hatches into the species of whatever the female Pokemon was, the mother Pokemon, if you can call it that. So there are a couple reasons for breeding in the main series. One, you can get exclusive moves, you can get egg moves. The male Pokemon can pass down certain moves to the egg Pokemon that it wouldn't normally learn by leveling up. So it could be one way to get cool new exclusive moves onto certain Pokemon. 2, people will breed eggs for IVs. If you're playing competitively, you want good IV combinations. Hatching a ton of eggs is probably the best way to do that. Same would go for Pokemon GO. And now 3, shinies. We have a lot of shiny Pokemon hatching from eggs now in Pokemon GO, and it's really frustrating trying to get them because the egg pools are so diluted, they're so diverse. You know, at this point, I'm pretty sure no one wants to hatch another Rhyhorn or Shroomish or whatever it is. Remember when all we were getting out of 10Ks was Trapinch? We don't want to go back to that. But if you could breed Pokemon to control what type of eggs you're getting, you could potentially use breeding as a way to hunt for shiny Pokemon that you want. Let's say you're Mystic 7 and you're still after the shiny Bonsly, you leave 2 Sudowoodo in the daycare, you get an egg from them, and then you have this egg that is guaranteed to be Bonsly. You walk to hatch that egg rather than opening up a bunch of gifts and hoping that out of the dozens of Pokemon that can potentially hatch from 7-kilometer eggs, you happen to get a Bonsly. Bonsly. How do I pronounce it? We do it both ways. The way I see it, it doesn't hurt. Personally, I'm very jaded when it comes to eggs. I've been saying that for a while now. I think after this event, a lot of people feel the same way. So if we could have some amount of control over the type of Pokemon we're hatching from eggs, or the specific Pokemon we're hatching from eggs, that might be reason enough for people to actually really want to hatch eggs. Now, when we're thinking about a new feature being added to Pokemon GO, we have to think about Niantic's core goals. If you listen to the Lured Up podcast with Liz, Niantic's Pokemon GO community manager recently, she talks about how every feature that is introduced to Pokemon GO has to meet all of these core goals of Niantic, not just Niantic, but of TPC and all the other companies involved in the production of Pokemon GO. So let's take a look just at Niantic's core goals, if I can find them online. It's my Postmates. Don't forget to use my code TrainerTips when you're ordering on Postmates. So Niantic's core goals, I guess I can't really find them online, but you know, we've heard them talked about enough, right? Social gaming. They want to develop these social communities. They want to encourage getting out and exploring the world, interacting with the world. So obviously eggs are a way to do that because you have to walk 2 or 5 or 10 kilometers to hatch your eggs. So by introducing breeding, you're giving players a way to get eggs that they want, eggs that they're eager to hatch, eggs that they're willing to walk many, many kilometers to hatch. To make it a social feature, maybe the daycare Pokemon have to come from 2 different players. So you and a friend each have to leave a Pokemon in the daycare in order to earn the egg. Rather than just one person putting 2 Pokemon in there, 2 people have to put 1 Pokemon in. So you have to kind of come together with a friend to make the egg happen, however that mysteriously happens. And of course, to make it a real-world thing, maybe we have these sort of daycare-like Pokestops. We have Rocket Invasions at Pokestops now. We have gyms, we have Pokestops. Maybe we have daycare centers in Pokemon Go, or maybe like the Team Rocket Invasions, occasionally a traveling daycare person will show up at a Pokestop and allow you to put some Pokemon there. I don't know. I haven't thought this part through, but there's definitely ways to do it, right? You and a friend go to a specific Pokestop. You put your Pokemon in the daycare there. You come back to the Pokestop. I guess they do that in Harry Potter, right? You gotta plant plants and then come back. So yeah, you come back to the same Pokestop, walk around a little bit, and then the daycare guy will call you on your Pokephone and say, "Hey, I don't know what happened, but there's an egg here. Do you want to come get it?" You go back to the Pokestop, you get the egg. It's an egg that you actually want. An egg of a Pokemon that you're actually trying to hatch. Sounds good to me.
Hi, there you go. Thank you.
Again, that code is trainer tips for Postmates. So let me just wrap it up so I can get to my food here. Overall, I think now is a great time to introduce breeding to Pokemon Go because it allows players some level of control over the eggs that they're hatching, something that I think more and more people are just becoming dissatisfied with in the game, especially now that we're on to Gen 5. There are a lot of Pokemon that can hatch from eggs, and we're at a point where, like, do you really even want to hatch eggs? When new Pokemon get added, sure, you want a chance to hatch the new Gen 5 Pokemon. But after a while, you're just hatching the same things over and over and over again, and it's really, really rare that you actually get something exciting or something new, something that you want. So introducing breeding as a way to give players control over the eggs they're hatching seems like a great idea. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Comments, as always, very welcome. Is there any reason we shouldn't have breeding in Pokemon Go? And actually, I can think of one, is that if you are able to breed regional Pokemon, then you're going to be able to get all these regional Pokemon without having to travel to that region, and then you can just trade them to all your friends. So maybe Pokemon that you hatch from eggs from breeding can't be traded because they're special to you. I don't know. There's definitely trade restrictions that Niantic can implement. Think of it this way. You and one friend happened to meet someone who had Relicanth, and you got to trade with that person. So you and one friend out of your community of like 50 people have Relicanth. If you and that friend could then just breed Relicanth and give it to all the people in your community, that sort of devalues regional Pokemon. And I'm not saying this from like my perspective because I think that everyone should have access to regional Pokemon. I am a big proponent of regional Pokemon. I like that they have this sort of exclusivity and it encourages people to travel. I think that's a great thing. But from a Niantic perspective, I'm trying to convey Niantic's perspective here. I don't think they would want 2 people in a community to be able to then provide the entire community with a regional Pokemon, and therefore eliminate the need for anyone to travel or meet new people and trade. So some kind of restriction on trading bred Pokemon, or maybe some Pokemon just don't like to breed. Maybe regional Pokemon won't breed for some reason outside of their region. They're just so confused by this new environment that they don't know what to do when they're in the daycare. There's creative ways to solve that problem. Regionals maybe can't be bred. Obviously, legendaries can't be bred. You know, with any new system, there are limitations that need to be put in place. So, in the comments, let me know, what do you think some of those limitations should be? What ideas do you have for breeding? How would you like to see a breeding function or feature work in Pokemon Go? What would you like to get out of it? Shinies, good IVs, egg moves, new exclusive moves? Let me know down below. I'm gonna eat. Postmates code trainer tips. Bye.